good opportunity. In spite of the global recession, in the Philippines this past year, Jimmy Cura said you were so scared a year ago when the recession started in the world. But during this past year, Philippine private construction grew by 17%. Congratulations to all of you. And why did it grow that fast? Because of the surge in middle and low-income housing. The primary cause of demand for homes is migration to urban centers in search of jobs or livelihood. And the most workable solution is not for the government to build the houses, but for you, private sector low-cost housing. And this trend is encouraging you, the land developers and the builders, to explore outside Metro Manila for more opportunities to build homes for our people. And now that there is natural calamity, our plan, and we will be discussing this some more on Tuesday in our next NBCC cabinet level meeting, is that because we know that many years ago or over the decades, people have been occupying riversides, creek sides, and lake shores. Not the lake shore, that is that lake shore, that's an artificial lake. It's the shore of an artificial lake, but we're talking about lake shores like Laguna, Bilbao, okay. The lake shores, the dangerous places, over the decades, people have been staying there. Not really your clients, but rather informal dwellers. And what we want is that those who evacuated should not go back to those places anymore. So we have to work very quickly on their relocation rather than returning to the same dangerous places that they have now escaped from. So yesterday, we started the first relocation of the evacuees. From Marikina, they went to Santa Rosa, and I will visit them tomorrow. And I understand from Vice President De Castro, who I see is one of your speakers, that, he will maybe tell you more about it tomorrow, that several of you, the developers, have committed that in some of the areas that are already prepared for development by the government, or even not yet prepared, but the land is there, a lot of the developers have said that within 1 month, you will be able to have houses that people can move into. So we thank you very much for that, because that is a great opportunity for your industry. It's also a great opportunity now to transform our informal settlers, dwellers in those dangerous places, to legitimate homeowners in places where they will be safer from natural calamities. And to ensure that your market will be sustained, that you will continue to have that market that made you grow 17% during a world crisis, and maybe even faster when the world rebounds, we will continue to work aggressively to ensure that our growth that has been generating jobs and revenue, to invest in new infrastructure and critical social programs will be sustained. We will continue our economic resiliency plan and its important components, like the conditional cash transfers of the poorest of the poor. This is the allowance we give to the identified 700,000 and now 1 million poorest families in the country. We give them a very modest allowance so that they will, on the condition that they send their children to school and they go to regular public health services. Ang tawag nga Pantawid Pamilya, para makatawid sila, para maging mas matatag ang kanilang pamumuhay, and then they will begin to think of microfinance, microbusiness, and begin to be able to hopefully afford their own modest housing coming from your industry. through the support of all levels of government, provincial governments, for instance, like Oca Moreno, and the hard work of our people, including your industry, we will not be deterred in our effort to maintain growth. We will intensify our investment in infrastructure because you're building houses, you need infrastructure to go to the houses that you will build. We will continue our livelihood and emergency employment program so that the people can continue to pay their installments and the credit system will continue to support your industry. In fact, Secretary Peter Favila is meeting now in a monetary board meeting. He represents the national government, and they will be discussing about how to provide, how to make credit easier. For one thing, they will maintain their interest rates so that your industry will continue to have this important facility. GSIS, SSS, and Pag-ibig have been instructed to give deferral of the repayment of their loans because that deferral increases their take-home pay, and therefore they can continue, therefore, to continue with whatever installments they need from you or to have additional new loans to repair their homes or to build new ones. We will continue to work with you to ensure our public-private sector partnership. I think you know more than I, and Vice President will elaborate tomorrow, I'm sure, that HADSI has dropped its interest rates. It has increased the coverage of socialized housing loans and the maximum loanable amount. And as I said earlier, the Bangko Sentral, even if during a calamity, normally it would want to raise rates to avoid an inflationary pressure, will be keeping the key policy rates unchanged. So, because we are doing a public-private sector partnership, as President Cura said, even if we're very busy in Luzon on things to address the natural calamity, I'm here because CREBA is an important partner in our public-private sector partnerships. And I count on CREBA to continue to be the government's efficient shelter partner because that is the way by which we can move towards the first world in 20 years. Once again, to all of you, congratulations on your terrific growth during this global economic crisis, and may you have more progress yet in the year to come. Maraming salamat.